Hi, and welcome to this episode of Jeff's DIY Garage. Today we're at the Jackson Hot Air Jubilee and Car Show, checking out all kinds of cars, balloons, and Bellas.
In this video, we're going to go through the ABCs of the car show. First up, my BMW with Bella. Eating chicken. Next, let's check out C, Chevrolet, and my favorite, Camaro. This Camaro is probably one of the oldest Camaros I've ever seen. The owner of this car tells me that it's one of the 10 oldest Camaros known in existence. It's hard to imagine that when the first Camaro went on sale in September 1966, the base price was just $2,466. The first generation of the Camaro had up to 12 different engine options available. Additionally, the Camaro was offered in 3 main optional packages: the RS Appearance Package, the SS Performance Package, and the Z28 Performance Package. This generation of the Camaro was sold between 1967 and 1969. Then came the second generation. The second generation of the Chevrolet Camaro was produced from 1970 through the 1981 model years. There's a lot of different things to go over here, all kinds of packages and engines and transmissions and variations. But before we get to that, let's check out the Z28. The Z28 was reintroduced as its own model in the spring of 1977 as a 1977.5. It was powered by a 350 cubic inch or 5.7 liter V8, and it produced only 185 horsepower at the time. In California, it was only 175 horsepower. Man, the 70s kind of suck. They're pretty cool, but not as cool as the next one. My favorite, the third generation, produced from 1982 all the way until 1992. Then we're going to skip to the 5th gen, because I don't like the 4th gen. 3rd generation is why I bought my 5th gen, and here's a beautiful Z28. And what car show wouldn't be complete without a gasser Chevy? This one I've seen around the city a lot, and every time there's a car show, this one's always parked there. Still have yet to hear it run. Continuing the ABCs of the car show, now we've got D for DeSoto. Really rarely see these, but they are beautiful from every angle. Next, we have E for Edsel. If you don't know the history of Edsel, well, I suggest you read about it because it's fascinating. The choices they made, the styling, the politics, and the background. It's a really interesting time in the automotive history. So if you have some time, check it out and learn more. Next, we're going to F for Ford. Here is a beautiful Ford Thunderbird, driven by a little old lady. Believe it or not, it's true. Here's another generation of the Ford Thunderbird. It seems every time they came out with a new Thunderbird, they reinvented itself. One of my favorite cars is the Mustang. Here is an absolutely gorgeous Ford Mustang Fastback. The Ford Mustang was introduced on April 17, 1964 as a hardtop and a convertible, with the Fastback, my favorite, being introduced in August of 1964. This is a 1968-ish Shelby Cobra GT350. It was powered by a 4.7 liter V8 or a 4.9 liter V8 and has a 4-speed manual transmission. I would love to drive one of these. And there were other Mustangs around like this Fox Body, which I absolutely adore, and a very new Mustang Dark Horse. I, for one, am so glad that Ford has decided to continue these muscle cars into the future. I wish that other manufacturers would follow suit because this thing is absolutely amazing. We wouldn't have the Mustang if it wasn't for the GTO. The first generation of the GTO is credited with popularizing the muscle car segment in the 1960s. Some consider the Pontiac GTO to be the first muscle car ever made. The first generation of the GTO was made from 1964 up until 1967. H for Hearst. Here are a couple of Hearst Olds. That's an Oldsmobile with a Hearst package. A love how over the generation they have a lot of the same styling cues. And here is a beautiful Pontiac. This thing just goes on for miles. Check out the styling cues. The stars, the swoops, the fins. God, this thing is just perfect. Q is for quite a lot of cars, and R is for Rogue One. Check out this Nissan Rogue, Rogue One Edition. The owners are huge Star Wars fans and have decorated the car to have even more details than it did when it came from the factory. They love talking about their collection, they love sharing their things, and they love talking about Star Wars. So of course, we really love talking to them too. Conveniently, we were parked right next to them. And that brings us to the end of the car show. But of course, it was more than a car show, because this event was the 41st annual Hot Air Jubilee in Jackson, Michigan. About 30 to 40 balloons took off that day, and we had a front row seat to watch them fill up and fly away. There are balloons in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and people came from all around the world to fly that day. Can't wait to go back next year.
What's your favorite car?
Yours.
Mine. Okay, nice. Oldsmobile? It's a lie.